States Armed Forces, and we now have the strongest and most powerful military that the world has ever seen. Nobody close, nobody close. And the situation in Iran is also a stark reminder of just how high the stakes are for the midterm elections. If Democrats had won in 2024, our country would right now be a nation in terminal decline. I don't even know if we'd have a nation right now. The spirit was so bad. You know, something I'm very proud of, if you go back a year and a half, you know, we couldn't get people to join the military, the police forces, nothing. The Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard, Space Force, they wouldn't join. They didn't want to join during Biden. His last year, they had the worst recruitment in the history of our country. 1 year later, we set records on recruitment. We had the greatest recruitment in the history of our country. The spirit was back. But Iran would long ago have had a nuclear weapon if it weren't for us. The entire world would be under mortal threat, and the prospects for peace in the Middle East would be absolutely shattered forever. And forget the Middle East, we would have a cloud over us too, because he would have used it, and they would have used it on us without hesitation. Our military would be woke, politicized, starved for resources. ICE would be effectively abolished. They would have terminated ICE so that all these murderers and drug dealers and killers and the mentally insane would be in our country instead of being shipped back to their country like only ICE could do. These are great patriots that have been abused. And I said before, and I mean it, the people are saying, what nice people. Now, I must tell you, when I first sent them in 2 days ago, I looked, and they were wearing masks. And I think they have to, because a lot of people are up. But in an airport, no. I said, fellas, do you mind taking off your masks in the airport? And they took them off. And people said, wow, these are nice guys. And they're helping the people with their bags. They're moving things along. It's a beautiful thing to see. People are starting to say, ICE, you're nice guys. We really appreciate it. So the Democrats, in their violence and viciousness, have done us a favor. But the cost of energy and electricity would be the highest ever, which it was prior to this administration. Inflation would be soaring to country record levels. You know, we had the highest, I inherited, the highest inflation in the history of our country. They say 48 years, what difference does it make? It's the highest in the history of our country. And our nation would be ravaged by rampant crime, woke lunacy, and transgender for everybody. That's where we would have been. People would have been flowing into our countries at the same levels they were destroying. They were destroying our country. And, you know, we are a party. Remember this. It's okay. It's a pretty obvious statement, I think, but we're a party of common sense. We are the party of common sense, because whether you're conservative or liberal, it's really not about, it's really common sense. You need borders. You need education. You want to buy a house. We're the party of common sense. We don't want to have men playing in women's sports. You got to look at some of the records. Weightlifting. A record that stood for 18 years in the women's category was shattered by a male who came in and broke the record by 128 pounds. You think that's good? That's not good. And he was a lousy weightlifter. As a man, he was a loser. Can you believe it? He felt awfully good. She felt awfully good about herself. But from now until November, we're going to fight. And I'm going to personally campaign for every one of you. We're going to go to win in midterms. We're going to have even bigger majorities in the House and the Senate than we have today. Going to help all of you. Americans saw the true and craven nature of congressional Democrats during my State of the Union, and we're not going to let that happen again. They really are. They're a party, and it's terrible to talk. I want it to be the old way where they got, you know, Democrats, Republicans used to get together, have lunch, and then they'd fight a little bit, and, you know, but it doesn't seem to be happening that way. And this is before me. Because if you go back to Obama, he was a great divider. He divided this nation. He was a lousy president. The worst president in history was Biden. But Obama was a terrible president. He was a divider. He did so many bad things. They're the party of fraudsters, radicals, illegal aliens, high taxes, and putting America last. That's what they are. They put America last. Republicans are the party for every hardworking patriot. And we do something very much different than them. We put America first. Put America first. So as we rebuild, it's going to come back very quickly. It's already back. I mean, it's back. I went down a little bit. I actually thought when I went on this excursion, as I call it, excursion into hell, excursion into a terrible place, when I went on to do something that for 47 years should have been done by any of the other presidents, and you heard numerous of them said they wished they did it, but they didn't have the guts to do it. We had no choice, but I thought it would be much worse. I thought that the energy prices, oil price would go up higher. I thought the stock market would go somewhat lower, but it didn't matter to me. It's short term. What we had to do is get rid of the cancer. We had to cut out the cancer. The cancer was Iran with a nuclear weapon, and we've cut it out. Now we're going to finish it off. As we rebuild the greatest economy in history, a top priority must be to bring down the cost of living. And we were doing that, and we are doing that at a record clip. You know, they had a phrase, all these phrases that they came up with, like, they're the ones that caused prices to go up. They had the highest prices, and we're bringing down the prices with the worst inflation, which has come way down. You know, the last 2 months, or last 3 months, actually, inflation was 1.4%. But we're ending high prices with tax cuts, deregulation, and frankly, again, the words common sense. For years, big insurance companies have gotten rich with our government, giving them hundreds of billions of dollars. And under the Great Healthcare Plan, that's what we call it, capital G, capital H, capital P, the Great Healthcare Plan, I'm urging Congress to halt all payments to big insurance companies, which are literally controlling the Democrat Party. They have total control over the Democrats. That's why you can't make a deal with them. The insurance companies have taken in trillions of dollars. I want this money to go directly to the American people so they can buy their own health care. And it's going to be better care at a lower cost. And you guys can do it. You can do it. Every time I mention that, it's like it goes viral. Give the money directly to the people so they can buy their own. You'll pay much less. They'll pay much less. But the Democrats won't do it because they're totally in the pocket of the insurance companies. How about stocks that have gone up 1,400, 1,500, 1,700%? As part of this plan, we also need to maximize price transparency. It's a big deal. Doesn't sound very glamorous, but it is. In addition, it's time to codify my most favored nation's policy on drug prices into law. We have lowered the price of drugs by 50, 60, 70, and 80, and 90%. And there's another way of figuring. You could also say, depending on the way you phrase the statement, 400, 500, 600, 700%. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. I got other countries to do it with the threat of tariffs. I said, if you don't approve it, because I got the insurance companies to do it, the health, we needed insurance, we needed everything. No other president tried to get this done. But basically, very simply, our drug costs, prescription drugs, were far more expensive than any other country anywhere in the world. The highest prices of any nation anywhere in the world. But under the deals I negotiated, we go from the highest price ever paid to the lowest price in the world. It's numbers that nobody's ever seen. It doesn't even get covered in the newspapers. We got to talk about it. That alone should win the midterms. but nobody talks about it. That's why I talk about it. Think of it, I lowered prices by 50, 60, 70, 80%. Nobody even wants to write about it. That's because the fake news is fixed. It's rigged. It's dirty. It's dirty press. For years, Democrats promised to reduce drug costs, but we got it done. All they did was talk. We got it done. I tell the story of my first term, my third year. I was the first one in 28 years to lower drug prices, 0.25%. I was so proud of that. I had a news conference. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to announce that I lowered drug prices by 0.25%. First time in 28 years. The prices went down from January to December, right? Now I'm lowering prices by 70 and 80%. Now we can have it, but nobody wants to pick it up. Nobody wants to pick it up. It's pretty incredible. But the people understand. The people get it. That's why I got 100% in the CNN poll. Can you believe it? 100%. They must have made a mistake. Boy, those people that put that poll out got fired by CNN very quick. They're no longer working for that wonderful crooked network. How crooked is CNN? But you know what's worse? I think ABC fake news is worse, actually. But George Stephanopoulos, they had to pay me $16 million for what they said. CBS had to pay me $38 million for what they said. It's actually pretty good. You know, if you bring lawsuits against these guys, they're so corrupt that they pay it. How about, this one hasn't been determined yet, how about BBC, where they put me out and they have me saying, and you can't tell the difference, things that I never said that were terrible. It turned out they put out news and they changed my words, having me say horrible things. I said to my wife, I never said that. Well, darling, you said it. Look, your lips. Let's watch. TiVo, one of the great things in history. Remember, television would be no good without TiVo or its equivalent. Wouldn't television be terrible if you couldn't play it back? You'd go absolutely crazy, right? So I play it back, and you're right. I said, you're right. Could I have said that? It's so horrible. And we checked it out. It turned out it was done by fake news. It was fake news. They put words in my mouth, sentences and paragraphs in my mouth that was so horrible. So we brought a suit against them, and they admitted they were guilty. They admitted. Can you believe that's how crooked they are? Now it's only a question of how much do I get. No, they have to be taught a lesson because they're crooked. They're crooked people. You know, I always say you need great borders. You need great borders, and you really need fair press. And we don't have fair. We have good borders now. We're good. We're the best we've ever been. I think we're probably the best. We are considered the best. We are the best at the border that we've ever been, but we have news that's really terrible. And the other thing you need is you need fair, free, safe, honest elections. You need that. And the only way you're going to get that is the Save America Act. You got to add the word America. Oh, when I watch these people, they hate saying Save America Act. They always say the Save Act. Nobody knows what the hell the Save Act means. Save America is good. The Save Act, are you trying to save terrorism? What are you trying to? It could be you're saving anything. It's called Save America Act. Please don't let them. You know, I saw last night on another fake network, the Save Act. It's not. It's called the Save America Act. I saw Schumer the other night. We will stop Save America. And our great First Lady, who now turns out to be a fantastic movie star. Do you believe this? She had the #1 movie. Now she's #1 on streaming. And you can't have two stars in one family, so this is not good. I've always said you can't have stars. There's only room for one star in a family. This is not a good sign. Now she has the #1 movie, and now she's got #1 on streaming. There's no talking to her. Darling, congratulations on being #1. Oh, thank you, darling. There's no talking to her. But she's doing a good job as First Lady, I'll tell you. She really is. People love her. People love her. But in our quest to restore public safety, we also need accountability for corrupt Democrat officials who conspire to obstruct federal law. Less than 1 week ago, a precious 18-year-old college student named Sheridan Gorman was shot and killed while walking in a park innocently. The illegal alien monster child is total animal. Remember when Nancy Pelosi got angry because I used the word animal in describing a savage killer? We were okay with it. Didn't bother me at all. The illegal alien monster charged with Sheridan's brutal murder had come illegally from Venezuela, had been released into our country by Sleepy Joe Biden. He had no idea what the hell he was doing. That's why he was... Okay. Which is a better term? Sleepy Joe or Crooked Joe? Crooked Joe Biden, please. Sleepy Joe Biden, please. A lot of people like Sleepy Joe. Oh, he's pathetic. Worst president. But he was then arrested again and released again by the Democrat governor, J.B. Pritzker, one of the worst governors in the history of our country, in the sanctuary city of Chicago. You know, we would stop crime in Chicago just like we did in Louisiana. We had great success. Memphis, Tennessee, a crime capital. We got it down 71% in a matter of a few months. Washington is the one that we talked about already. So amazing how great we've done. But we could go to Chicago if that slob would allow, if he'd just say, please come, Mr. President. People are being killed here all the time. Please come. I would come and you would have no crime practically. Chicago would be easy for us. But they don't want to say that because they actually, I think, like it. I don't know. They're sick people. But as you saw at my State of the Union, Democrat politicians, they don't care about American blood. They spill in their very demented pursuit of these open borders. Every American needs to know that the larger majorities in the House and Senate, Republicans will, remember this, will end sanctuary jurisdictions once and for all. We need a few more votes. If we get a few more votes, if we could get a few more in the Senate, and if we could get a few more in the House, we could do things that would be a miracle. We got to get out and win. The time has also come for Republicans to pass a tough new crime bill that imposes harsh penalties for dangerous repeat offenders, cracks down on rogue judges. We got rogue judges that are criminals. They're criminals. What they do to our country, the decisions that they hand down and hurt our country. And I can tell you something, I've gone through it. And the decisions that these people make, I got a decision on tariffs that's going to cost our country, not me, I do it a different way. Going to cost our country hundreds of billions potentially of refunds. Giving them back to people that have been ripping off our country because the Supreme Court didn't want to put one little sentence that all money taken in up till this date doesn't have to be paid back. And it costs us hundreds of billions of dollars. So sad to see. And I could give you plenty of others too. Look at what they did to college sports. Look what they did. You do know, I mean, this is maybe not a sporting environment, but NIL, it's a disaster. College sports are a disaster. A judge made a horrible decision, and the decision got carried up. The appeal was terrible. And what they've done is destroyed college sports and destroying colleges because colleges can't afford to pay quarterbacks that never threw a ball before, that are 17 years old, $12 million to play college because every college is going to go bankrupt. Other sports aren't going to be relevant. Football is going to cause it all. Basketball to a much lesser extent. But your colleges are going to go bankrupt. Did you see where Penn State lost $525 million? Can you believe it? One of the great schools of Florida lost $450 million. Think of that. Because it's basically professional sports without a cap, and you can't have without a cap. And we had a good system. We had a scholarship system. Took 100 years to hone and perfect. And a judge who knew nothing about sports, a female, I believe, not that that matters. I have to put that preface in there. A female, I believe, who knew nothing about sports, totally upended all of sports. Hundreds of years of sports in our colleges, and now we have a mess like you've never seen before. And you know who gets hit the hardest? Women. Because women's sports are being canceled all over college. And other sports that are more minor sports are being dropped. That means the Olympics are going to be a disaster, because this was training grounds for the Olympics. We had unbelievable training grounds, and they had scholarships and everything. But they're being terminated because they want to be able to sign football players for $4 million, $5 million, $10 million. All because the courts decided to terminate sports in colleges. And it's a very tough thing to get it back, because you have all different sports, all different levels of competition. Nobody knows what to do. A woman, a judge, made a decision knowing nothing about what the hell she was doing. Courts, bad courts in this country are costing us a tremendous amount of money. And the Supreme Court, that's right, of the United States, cost our country, all they needed was a sentence, our country, hundreds of billions of dollars, and they couldn't care less. They couldn't care less. And not that it matters, doesn't matter at all. But two of the people that voted for that, I appointed. And they sicken me. They sicken me, because they're bad for our country. We need a tough new crime bill that imposes harsh penalties for dangerous repeat offenders, cracks down on rogue judges and prosecutors, and ends no cash bail. No cash bail has caused a problem for our country like you wouldn't believe. Killers, they go in, they get out. They go in, they kill 2 times in one day sometimes. If our Republican majority stand up for these priorities, the American people will stand with us in record numbers. We have to be strong. We have to be tough. And we can't let these thugs on the other side of the aisle push us around. Because what they're doing right now is wrong. And the public knows it. Now the public knows it. And they're on our side. But you have to fight, and you have to be tough. You have to be much tougher. And you have to stick together. Republicans have to stick together. So we won't just re-elect our majorities this November. We'll expose the corruption and radicalism of the Democrat Party. It's a lunatic. It's a party of lunatics. We'll defeat the forces of national destruction. We'll complete our mission of national renewal. And the Republican Party will grow larger, stronger, and more dominant than ever before. We have a chance to do that because we're competing against lunatics, and the public knows it, and they're seeing it every single day. And together with all of you, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And most importantly, we will make America great again. Thank you very much, Republicans. Go out and win the midterms. Thank you very much.